Hi all, welcome to Tech Forum. In this video, we will be seeing more details on AEM resource only cache invalidation. Okay, what is cache invalidation? So, cache invalidation is a mechanism by which dispatcher considers certain cache files to be outdated or stale. So before invalidating the cache, dispatcher checks whether the invalidation is allowed for the particular resource. So that can be configured in dispatcher.ini cache file section. So the invalidation dispatcher compares the resource last modified time with the nearest .stat file time. So if the file is older than nearest .stat file, the file will be invalidated and re-requested from publisher on the next request. Okay, this is the overall cache invalidation flow. This is a normal cache invalidation. We will be discussing on resource only cache invalidation further in the video. Here in author, some of the resources are activated, modified and activated. Here we are taking the example of /content geometric outdoors /en.html. So the content will be replicated to publisher. Publisher sends the flush request to dispatcher. Dispatcher do some set of activities. Here the stat you assume the .stat file level is 2. So .stat file exists in the following locations: one in the root level, one in the content level, another one is geometrics outdoors level. So now dispatcher touches the .stat files marked with the small star here. So 3 .stat file will be touched. Then it will delete 2 files. One is /content geometrics outdoors /en.star, and another one is /content geometrics outdoors /en/jcr content folder. So now next time the user requests en.html, dispatcher finds this is invalidated because the .stat file is latest one and the resource is oldest one. So it will delete that other, like this is for other content, not for en.html, because en.html is already missing. So it will directly go and fetch it from publisher for other resources. So it will compare the .stat file timestamp with the resource timestamp, and all the older files will be requested from publisher. Okay, now like this is little more detail. I am not going to explain. This is the same thing we explained there. What is the request will be sent and the flow a little bit explained here. So this all in the same diagram. So I will skip this and I will go to next screen. So this is again same thing. So we already explained. Maybe little bit more detail. Stat file level 0 means only the cache root will be having the .stat file created. So it means any of the request to flush the resource will invalidate the whole cache. So this is not a ideal scenario. We should be configuring the stat level accordingly. If you see the stat level file level is 1, so it will be created in 2 level, so the root level and the next folder level. So 2 means it's in the 3 level. So in our case, root level, then content level, and content geometrics outdoors level. So also that this already explained in the diagram. So if the stat file if it touching activation of content geometrics outdoors.en will touch this stat files. So here one more thing, like this invalidation may be fine for HTML resources, but it will create more problem for DAM resources. Let's say in a folder we have thousands of DAM resources, either PDF or Excel or images. So invalidating one resource cause the whole folder to be invalidated. So that will create more load on publisher, and also it will create slowness in the page load. So now what is the solution on that? So that's we are going to discuss. That is resource only cache invalidation. So now what is resource only cache invalidation? So this only going to invalidate the actual resource. It's not going to invalidate the other related resources. So it means it's not going to touch the .stat file. So only it will go and delete the corresponding resource and leave the .stat file untouched. So what does that mean? So because the .stat file is not touched, so the dispatcher will not go and request the other resources from public. It will go and request only the current resource. If you see the flow, same thing. So here like author, like I taken some image example is activated. So content is replicated to publisher. Publisher sends the flush request to dispatcher. Here dispatcher do only the activity, delete the .jpg file from the cache. So then when next time somebody requests that image, dispatcher identify the image is missing in cache and it will go to publisher and retrieve it and send it to the user, and also the same time it will update the cache. So same thing here, like a little detail on that shows only cache invalidation. It will only, as I already explained, is only delete the activated page or activated resource from the cache, but it will not touch the .stat file. So it will help us to improve the performance, as I already explained. So if you are going to invalidate the whole cache due to one resource modification, it will going to create more load on publisher. So here how this can be achieved, what is the configuration to achieve this? So we have to send a header, additional header in the flush agent. So CQ action scope with value resource only. So you can see here, so CQ action scope I am sending resource only. So it means this flushing is only for the resource, not for a .stat file. Okay, let's see some scenarios, real-time scenarios, so that you can understand this very well. Okay, so what I will do is I will because we are considering two content and image DAM invalidations. I will go and create two users. One user will be having the permission to DAM folder. Another user will be having the permission only to content. So now I will go and create two user. I already created. I created a user called content user. If I go to permission, this user will not be having the access to DAM. Now I created another user called DAM. So this user will have the access to DAM, but not for the content. But anyhow, here I given the permission to all other content apart from Geometrix Autos, because I am going to use this for demo. So now these two users are ready. Now what we have to do is we have to define two different flush agents. So I am using the default flush agent for content. So if I show the configuration here, same thing. Only difference is here, like in this page you have to keep the agent user ID as content user, whatever the user ID we created earlier for content with the access to content. Now transport, we have to keep the dispatcher URL. Then in the extended HTTP method and HTTP headers, so here only action, handle and path. Then triggers I am ignoring the default and on receive. So this is fine. Now I have another flush agent only specific to DAM. So if I go here, here I'm keeping the agent user ID is DAM user. So only DAM flushing will happen via this agent. Now transport is same, there is no different. If I go to extended, I have to add another additional parameter here, CQ action scope resource only. So it will become a resource only flush agent. Okay, let's first verify the existing cache. Maybe like I will go to the cache folder. Let us first do for content Geometrix Autos. I have a en folder, en file here. So it's updated 754. Maybe I updated recently. So now I will maybe you can see the DAM folder too. DAM, I will go to Geometrix articles. So yeah, this is updated. Yeah, it's updated 743. This also. Now if I go to these .stat files, this is updated 253. Then if I go to content, yeah, this is 633. So this is because of I updated some other content, not the DAM. Yeah, let me activate one content en.html. I will activate this page. Now if we go to the cache and go to Geometrix, yeah, the en file is deleted now. If you see, there is no en file. and the dot stat file is updated 755. So as already we mentioned, it will hierarchy of the dot stat will be updated. If I go to the content, yes, it's updated. If I go to the cache root, this is updated. Now let's what happened in the flush agent log. We will go and see the flush agent log. So let me open. This is for DAM flush agent. Yeah, it's like if you see the log, it's saying this user is not having the access to flush this content. So because DAM user is having only access for DAM folder. But if you go to the other one, this is for normal content. Yeah, this is successful. Now let's go and activate another content maybe. Yeah, so let me activate another JPG image. I'm activating it. Yeah, if you go to the cache again, now the stat file is not touched. It's still 755. Now I will go to content DAM article. Yeah, this image is deleted. Yeah, if you go to the log file again, if you DAM flush agent, this should be success now. But if you go to normal content agent, this will say it's not having the permission. Okay, this is the we can configure the resource only flushing with this approach. So it will help us to only flush the required files, not the entire cache. So it will help us to improve the performance. Thanks all for watching the video. We'll catch you again in the next video. Thank you.